Hello and welcome to everyone. Today our guest is MMA host. Well, for me, one of the greatest names in the world of MMA. Thank you so much for accepting. And before we start, props to Justin Jr. for this. I I shouldn't forget it, right? My good friend Justin Jr. And of course, thank you for accepting. So, what can you say about your amazing show and everything else that goes along with it? I mean, everybody in the world of MMA knows you, but for the intro, please.
Listen, it's a pleasure to be here, and shout out to Justin Jr., very nice young fella, talented fella. This is an honor for us because, listen, we're worldwide superstars, but you are the Bulgarian cowboy, and I got to say this is exciting for us. Very nice. Look at that.
Yeah, in the background, just like your background is awesome, really, really awesome. So, why did you pick the nickname MMA Holes? Is it a nickname or it's something else?
So the MMA holes, we were looking for something that is edgy, catchy, and it just works. So we like it to be assholes here, but you don't want to go complete a-hole. So we say, don't be an a-hole.
Be an MMA hole.
That's right. And a lot of people said, get rid of the name if you want to be taken serious. No one's going to take you serious. No one's going to want to do interviews or hang out with you guys or do anything with you guys because it's so disrespectful to the sport. 4 years later, we flip them the birds and we win.
Yeah.
So, it's a edgy, fun name.
Yes.
Well, to be honest, I've never heard. I mean, your name sounds a bit odd. In my language, for example, when you say the MMA holes, it means the MMA toe to toe. In literal translation from Bulgarian, it means MMA. When you say hole, it's toe to toe, like a brawler.
Mm-hmm. Some people mistaken us for a gay porn channel, and we have to correct them and say that's not what it's about. It's about fighting and fun.
Oh, it was a funny name, definitely. So, how challenging it was? You say you were heavily criticized because of the name. How challenging it was to climb up the ladder?
Well, I feel like we still get criticized for the name, even when we're reaching out to sponsors and stuff like that. It's still difficult. I think it's always going to be difficult. But I think that's the fun. We like a challenge. We like to, try and hurdle over obstacles and things like that. So to us, it's not very challenging because we enjoy it. But I feel for most people, it would probably be a little more challenging. But I think it's always going to be there.
How does the surround look at you? For example, I was having very big problems with my surround because they were like, no, you're from Balkan Peninsula, you will never succeed, and so on. Is it different in the USA or it's like haters, lovers?
Yeah, there are a lot of people that want you to fail. They pretend they're your friends. Hey, let's do some collaborations and this and that. A lot of people are just basically out there for themselves. And the minute you start catching some traction, they start to hate. There's a lot of backstabbers, especially within this world. It's kind of weird. If you go on social media, you could see on MMA Twitter, people are out there just to basically troll and make fun of people and say just nasty stuff over and over again. And it's a cutthroat world. It's a cutthroat community. So what we want to do is be sarcastic, but have some heart as well. Like, we have so much respect for the fighters. So in a nutshell, to be in MMA media or be an MMA show, you have to have some thick skin and you have to just trust in your heart. I don't know what I'm saying anymore, Justin. Can you help me out here?
I think you were trying to say believe in what you do.
Yes, believe in what you do. Absolutely.
You mentioned sponsorship issues because of your name. So on scale from 1 to 10, how hard it is to find a sponsor with your name?
It's not difficult to get a hold of a company. It's not difficult to get them on board with what we're doing. Once we show them the analytics and what we can provide, then they're like, oh, okay, because they're in the business mindset. So all they're thinking is, how can you help me? It's just wrapping their head around the initial shock factor, especially of the name, because when people hear that name, especially businesses, they want to make sure they're connected to something that's going to, I guess, help them and not make them look stupid.
So basically, we started this thing because we're big. I don't know if Howard Stern is big in Bulgaria, but he was an idol for me growing up. Very edgy guy, said crazy things, had women do nutty things and stuff like that. And everyone told him he couldn't do what he was doing. He followed his dream, went for it, and it worked. So every time someone tells us we can't do something, it inspires us even more. We really get fired up and we want to just keep going forward. And what we've noticed is we've built a surrounding group of sponsors that has been very supportive within Mystic Roots and
Lux Bidet,
ESPN. Where's ESPN? Could you believe this? ESPN's working with us. So it's not even about the name or anything like that. It's about what you do with that name.
Yeah, exactly.
You asked how's it about in Bulgaria. Well, actually, I live in a country near Bulgaria. I live in Serbia, a country near Bulgaria. But the problem is, in Serbia, we had a lot of MMA names that were UFC elite level or so. From Bulgaria, we had only 3. We had Jordan Radev, we have Stanislav Netkov, and we have Blagoy Ivanov. And right now, after Blagoy Ivanov, recently, a day before, one guy told me, you're number 4 Bulgarian in the UFC. I just asked, why number 4? Well, after Ivanov, you're the first journalist. I was like, wait, are you joking? And that's a guy from Sofia, from the capital of Bulgaria. So technically in Bulgaria, it's not that much developed, but people believe in me. But here where I live, people don't believe in me. So, it's kind of fun situation. Very fun.
What drives you then? What drives you? So is it the challenge of being, you want to be the first person to represent your company in this field?
Well, yes, from Bulgaria, I want to be the first. So it's super, super challenging. It's very, very challenging because it's not normal here. Here people stick to state jobs, if you know what I mean. Just state job. You're not the innovator. It's super, super hard. But, I'm a brawler by nature.
That's actually very respectful. If you bring up to friends or other people that don't know much about cage fighting or any of that stuff, do they look at you like you have like 12 heads?
Yes.
They do. Yeah, I feel you. And we're in America. Same thing happens with us. So respect. Yeah, a lot of people, the sport is not like baseball or football.
Yeah, it's still a baby if you think about
still growing.
Yeah.
It's a good time to get into it.
When we discuss babies, how are you planning to go with that? Because it's going to be very challenging for your job. I know you're going to be even better, but it's going to be very challenging because sometimes you might be tired, I, for example, work 2 jobs and it's very, very hard sometimes. So,
yeah. Listen, I think we're fully aware of how challenging it's going to be. There's going to be, surprises that come up that we didn't really expect. But like I said before, we're a big fan of challenges, So if anything, it's just going to drive us to hustle more. I don't think it's going to be anything that stops us or hinders our ability to provide good content.
We let a lot of people from so basically the reason why we didn't say, hey, the Chris and Jesse show, we call it the MMA holes because basically we wanted to build a community. So it's kind of like a big family that we grew, and we let them into our personal life. They know some things about, us having a child, and we just bring them along for the ride. I think it just keeps us a nice tight grit, tight knit. Yes. Tight grit. That doesn't even make sense.
Tight knit.
A tight knit group.
Yeah.
So it is nice that they know about our personal life, and I think we'll be fine with it.
Following many podcasters, but you are the only, male and female couple. Don't get this personally, but I don't know any other male and female couple. So how do you combine your knowledge? Do you have some, some agreement or?
I feel like that's a little difficult. So when we first started off the show, it was just like a business thing. He wanted to get a female perspective on the show and kind of have like Howard Stern and Robin thing. And it started off that way. The whole relationship was later on. But regardless, even in a relationship, we still have differing opinions with MMA and stuff like that. And sometimes it can get heated. But I feel even if there was no personal relationship going on, we would probably still be at each other's throats about MMA opinions. So, but I think that's what makes it fun and spicy and, exciting.
Yeah, it is a challenge. It is a challenge, but it's fun. It really is. It's a lot of fun. Listen, you never want to mix business with pleasure, but at the same time, it kind of grounds us. And we have some heated debates. She loves Habib. I love Conor. We go back and forth. She loves Israel Adesanya. She came into this, she grew as an MMA fan while she jumped into the community. And like you said, there is no other show out there within mixed martial arts that has a male-female approach. Yeah. So she caters to one side. She makes it fun for the female audience to watch as well. They could watch with their husbands and boyfriends. It just brings everyone together. Everyone's afraid to do this.
Yeah, we did notice, like, in the audience in the beginning, I'm not sure when you entered into the community, but in the very beginning, it was a lot of just men who wanted to get away from their girlfriends and their wives, and they just wanted to separate themselves and watch MMA. And now we see more couples in the chat coming in together and watching the sport together. So it's kind of cool to see the influence that we have as creators on people and their personal lives and stuff like that.
In Bulgaria, do you guys keep women on leashes? Be honest with me.
Well, it depends on which part of Bulgaria. For example, you have eastern part of Bulgaria where people are super liberal, like in the USA, but more liberal. You know, you have western part where I was born, and they are like, oh no, females for home, and nothing else. And I was like, no, I'm gonna get away from here. That's not me. Gotta get away.
Yeah.
The good old days. No, it's funny. Yeah, there's a stereotype, and there's a lot of jokes that we make on this show.
Women belong in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny to get it's great to get a female perspective on things, because honestly, as a male, like, we are very one-sided. We think in a certain way. We're all macho, and then women bring us down to earth. So it's a nice combination.
An example from my personal life. I was having very big problems when I went to Western Bulgaria. I was talking to some girls, and they were like, you don't think women are for the kitchen? I said, no, of course not. They're like, how are you born here? I'm like, no, not gonna talk about it. Goodbye, see ya.
Wow, huh? Maybe I should move to Bulgaria. This sounds great. Just keep them in the kitchen. Change
Eastern part of Bulgaria, no women in the kitchen. Western part, Chris would like it.
I think I might move there. If this doesn't work out, I might move over there, Jess.
It sounds like a place for you.
You can try it out if you want to. So do you have some good tactics to push your channel to the next level? Do you have some specific tactics, or you just, make it along the way?
I think one of the ones that I noticed that work for us is having multiple channels. One of the biggest mistakes that content creators make is they only depend on one channel, and then, God forbid something happens, they have no backup plan. So we have 3 channels, and we always, tell people subscribe to all 3 just in case, and like what happened just recently, we got shut down on our main channel, and we were able to migrate as many people as we could over to that second channel. So that's one thing for me. And whenever you do content on different channels and you're just, sending people to subscribe, it keeps everyone involved in some weird way, depending on what kind of content they like.
Very important is watch time.
Yeah.
It's not even about your sub count. Sub counts don't really mean much. Watch time is super important. So if you notice on your analytics, you notice that people are staying for a significant amount of time, that's good, because the YouTube algorithm, they'll throw you right into it, and you'll be recommended to other channels. So that's what we've learned. So we're trying to figure out, okay, how do we keep people here as long as possible? And we do, tactics like visuals, and we mix humor with, the MMA content, and we notice that either if people like us or don't like us, they still want to hang around. So I think watch time is super important.
Yeah.
About watch time, right? You had a lot of interviews. Which interview was the hardest for you? You had many interviews in your show. I watch it when I have time, but it's a different time zone, so I mostly sleep, but I watch later.
So there are 2 things I could think of. Justine Kish took a shit in the octagon, and I made it I had to bring her on for this.
I watched that.
Yeah, I needed to talk to her about it, and it was very uncomfortable. I remember I was very nervous because she was like the second or third UFC fighter I've ever had on, and I was really nervous. I was like, oh my God, she shit in the octagon, but I have to ask her these questions, and it wound up being great. She was a super sweetheart, but it was very uncomfortable because we do have a live chat usually in this box, and they're vicious, and we have donations that come on, and they say vicious things. So to navigate through that, it was very difficult. Another person is Felony Charles Bennett. In the beginning was very difficult. Now we love him. He's a friend. We text him. He's a great guy. But he was difficult as well. What do you think?
I think one of the most uncomfortable ones for me was Aljamain Sterling. The second time we had him on, we had this individual in the chat who was very racist. And when I say racist, I mean I don't think anyone's ever witnessed anything like this guy. And he was coming in with very controversial donations and rude donations. And you could tell Aljamain Sterling was getting a little perturbed and a little uncomfortable. And it was just like, oh man, how do we navigate this? And once we navigated through it, it was just such a weird feeling at the end, you know. So
we had a gentleman that was disguised as a woman named Big Ebony Honey Buns.
Yes, yeah.
Who was donating and saying the sexual things that she would like to do to Aljamain Sterling. And Aljo was just like, ha, 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 ha.
Yeah.
And we haven't had him on since. So I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like us anymore. I'm not sure.
Well, to be honest, my hardest interview was Wilson Hayes, but the first interview. Right now, we are literally friends. We have great relationship. But in the first place, you know, I was having problems because Wilson was fighting for the title, and he was the first guy who fought for the title and accepted the call for the interview. And I was like, you know, I was shaking.
Nervous. Yeah.
What was that nerves like? Like, I remember, it feels like yesterday where, and I still get weird butterflies when we have people on. What was that nerve like, though? How did you get yourself through the interview?
Well, I just watched Wilson. I was just saying, okay, this guy is good. This guy is southpaw like me. We are not much different. That's what I was telling. And in the end, I realized that Wilson is a great guy. I had 3 interviews with him. He is an amazing guy. He is even in private life, he's an amazing guy.
That's great.
Has there ever been a question that you regretted asking a fighter?
Well, actually, it has been. It was my 3rd interview. It was a Cage Warriors fighter. He is a good colleague of the guy who was my 2nd interview. It's Natajas Frederick. It's his colleague. It's Mo Zubair. And I asked him, do you plan something specific? Because he was fighting the next weekend. And he said, sorry, but I can't respond. And then I realized that I made a mistake. He mustn't tell his tactics. And then I had to cut that part. I excused to him. But, you know, I know he's also a good guy and Natajas is a good guy. Then I called Natajas and told him, sorry. He said, no problem. Just cut it out and we're fine.
There you go. All right. So at least it has a happy ending.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least it has a happy end, yeah. Chris, you said that I know what I'm doing when you were in the interview with Justin, so you think my striking background is pretty much good, right?
Yeah, I've masturbated many times to it.
What?
Wait,
why is Jesse laughing?
It's not live, right? You could cut that out, right? What? I'm sorry. Did I say? What happened?
All right.
I think your strike is fantastic. So here's the thing. Like, we're 2 fans that watch this sport, and we get, you know, millions of questions. Hey, do you train? Do you do this? Do you do that? And we're just couch potato fans that sit on the couch that basically don't even know what the hell we're talking about. We're just having some fun. But the fact that you actually train and you are skilled in this craft, it does add an extra value to it.
Yeah.
If you notice, most MMA media out there doesn't really know what they're talking about when it comes to the actual art. So I think that is an added bonus to your interviews that can be very valuable.
Many times I asked people technical questions. For example, Parker Porter. I asked him, can you please elaborate the difference between Kimura and Americana? And I said, can you please show me how Blago Ivanov attempted a Kimura against Derek Lewis? And he was like, hey, are you BJJ or what? I said, yes, I train BJJ. He was like,
yeah, they're not used to that. If you notice, like guys like Luke Thomas, he trains and stuff like that. I think he goes a little overboard. I think Luke Thomas force feeds everyone the information, whereas you are just humble about it. You talk about it because you have a passion for it, and you're not shoving it down your audience's throat like that fat fuck Luke Thomas. Oh shit, I'm sorry. I apologize. Listen. Luke Thomas is an asshole.
Okay, no problems. I mean, I accept everybody's thoughts. So I told you I'm like the eastern part of Bulgaria. I'm very liberal. So I think Jesse understands it.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. We're all on the same page here. This is great.
Yeah,
what do you think about
I'm very much liberal about it. And when it comes to kickboxing, when it comes to striking, you know, I have a Taekwondo black belt, and I also competed in both Taekwondo and kickboxing. So when we're taking part in a stand-up affair, I know literally everything. On the ground, sometimes I make a slight mistake. You know, you can't every time see whether it's the arse choke or especially when it's under a weird angle, as well as you know.
Sure. Yeah, you can talk the audience through, especially when you're doing your fight reactions. You can talk them through the positions and how to get in and out of those positions. My question to you is, if I ever get in trouble, because I've had people threaten to murder me and have do terrible things to Jesse. If we ever get into any trouble, can we fly you to America and have you beat up these people for us?
I'm always down for it. No props.
Okay.
I'm always down for it. No props, bro.
Thank you.
So
Okay, good.
technically, also my current boss right now, I was when I was having the first time. For the first time, when I was having, he said let's just try. And the first match I actually had was it was I think Saliko versus Tauropoli. I don't remember. No, it was the second fight. The first match was grappling war. I was like, oh no. And the second match was stand up. You know, Saliko is a stand up dude. Stavropoli is too. And he said, come on, go. And he was like. And he was like all the time, all 3 rounds, he was like, what the hell are you doing, man? I was like, why? He said, come on, you see everything. How are you? I said, wait, I'm training this. What's the problem? He was like, no, you're staying.
There you go. Look at that. See, worked out well for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually worked. And you asked, I'm watching your show since January 2020, since I met Justin. So I don't know actually how it was earlier, but right now, I know it's right now awesome, really, really awesome. And what are your general thoughts on MMA channels and such things, on MMA media in general? You just said that many MMA media don't even know what are they talking about, and you're definitely right about that. I will tell you later about my unfair experience.
So I feel like Moss is a little bit of a difficult person to ask that question about because he always has something to say about everybody. But I agree with him in one aspect that not everybody knows what they're talking about, but I think that's why we enjoy not calling ourselves media. We like to call ourselves just UFC fans who are kind of covering the sport. This way, it can't be held against us if we say something that, it's a little off term, or if we say something that maybe a lot of people disagree with, because we're not analysts. We don't participate in the sport in any way. We just kind of cover it as fans. So I do agree that media can sometimes be a little overzealous with what they say.
They don't talk to these fighters like human beings. They talk to them like robots, and maybe I think some of these fighters prefer to be talked to like that because fighters are very sensitive.
Yeah.
But MMA media is so full of themselves, and we learned this very quickly when I attacked Luke Thomas when the show started. I went straight after him and I attacked him. Called him out for, being fake and all this stuff. There's a lot of fake people within MMA media. And I really wish there was more real people out there like yourself that would go out, ask the technical questions, be personable, and not be full of shit. And majority of MMA media is completely full of shit because they work for these other big organizations, Vox, they have to answer to these people. Yeah. You don't have to answer to anybody. You do your interviews and you move on. A guy like James Lynch, fantastic guy, very nice guy. I see he was on your show as well. He does a great job. He works for other outlets, but he's his own person. And that's what MMA media should be like. Everyone should just be more personable and not just complete full of shit. Hey, let's get the big headline.
Yeah, it's very do what you're told.
I know. I was having a pretty much unpleasant experience. I was writing for Middle Easy, but their editor is very, very stupid. She knows nothing on fighting. And sometimes you know what was happening. I start telling something and she has no idea what am I talking about. I, for example, say crest and kick. She doesn't know what that is. And I was like, listen, I'm not going to work anymore for somebody who cures frustrations on writers. And she was like, you can't tell me that. I was like, of course I can. Screw you. Goodbye.
Chain her right to the stove in Western Bulgaria, right? Or what?
Yeah,
send her right over to Western Bulgaria. That's where she belongs.
I was born in Western, but I like Eastern part. Eastern part has a sea.
Okay.
Yeah, well, people are like Americans, pretty much like Americans. The only difference is because they speak Bulgarian.
There you go. What do you think of the American culture? I mean, it is a little brash and obnoxious in ways. And listen, I was raised in New York, where everyone is basically an asshole. So what do you think when you see people that are loud and obnoxious? Does it rub you the wrong way, or how do you perceive Americans?
No, I actually like America a lot. I actually like American people. I get along better with American people than, for example, Serbian people, where I live at the moment. I mean, I can speak with American people pretty much normally. I don't know why.
Oh.
Yeah, very good English, by the way, too.
Thank you.
Speaking of Serbians, have you ever seen the movie A Serbian Film?
Yes.
Ooh, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I do know, but I don't know if I start talking about this, people are going to throw me because of that.
Jesse, woo, let me turning red.
I refuse to watch it.
Yeah, do not watch that movie.
I will never watch it.
Okay.
Yeah,
interesting stuff.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. When we talk about that, I watched it once, but I was like, no, I definitely. Not something that I like. In Serbia, for example, some people are pretty much, like this. They're too narrow-minded, and I don't like it. I'm just an open-minded guy who likes to brawl everywhere, and that's me. That's just me. I can't just be like I'm MMA media. I'm like this. No, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna do that. That's the reason why I don't work for outlets.
There
that's
you go.
great.
Yeah, be your own person. If you do run into an organization that treats their employees nice, then so be it. Have a nice relationship with them. But if you could do it on your own, if you could build your own brand, I highly recommend that
Yeah.
because then you don't have to answer to anybody.
And it's more rewarding when you make accomplishments and stuff like that. It feels more rewarding knowing that you did that all by yourself without the help of other people.
Absolutely.
Can I ask you one thing? But you mentioned Luke Thomas as a faker, right?
Yeah, very fake.
Okay, can I ask you why do you think he is a faker? I mean, I agree with you, just to know. I agree with you, but I just want to hear what you have to say.
I'm going to leave this to Moss.
Okay. So when the channel started, I said I have to pick one person to go after. It was Luke Thomas. We made a whole song. I would go into Manhattan. I would storm his Sirius XM things. I would get the microphone, ask him stupid questions. I would do all this stuff. And I call him Hot Dog Bottom Lip because he's got this hot dog on his bottom lip. I trolled him pretty bad. So what happened was I would do this over and over again, and we kind of were cool with each other. It was weird.
Like you respected the...
I had a bunch of drinks with the guy. We hung out. We watched the Bellator event together. Like he was actually a nice guy. I was like, wow, this guy's actually really cool. So I would go on air and say, listen, you know what? As much as I trolled Luke Thomas, he's actually a good dude. And then time passed, and we got blocked on Instagram. And I'm like, I stopped trolling him completely. I was like, why are we blocked on Instagram? Then I would watch his content. I would sit there and study the guy. And he would say one thing and do another. And then he started this whole morning combat thing where he has this campy, goofy shtick. And that's not him. Like everything he does is phony, and he force feeds his information into his audience's eyeballs and ears and just preaches to people like he knows everything. What is the real Luke Thomas? Like, who is the real guy? Why did you block us on Instagram? We didn't do shit to you. That's it.
So you don't like people that don't behave natural, right?
No, not at all. Like, listen,
I also think, though, I mean, it was very apparent, especially over the last year or two. Luke Thomas, remember when he took over Ariel Helwani's show for a little while? And it was around that time that we started to notice some weird similarities with his content and our content. And it was like, all right, well, that might explain why he blocked us. Maybe he doesn't want us to know. Like, it's just like a weird coincidence that we get blocked, and then all of a sudden his content becomes a little more edgy and a little more MMA Holes-esque. Now, I'm not saying that's what he was doing, but it was just a little weird of a situation.
We went to a live event, and we were hanging out. I was with one of our viewers. He was hanging out with us. We took pictures. We were bullshitting. And I told him, I was like, why don't you read your live chat? And he tells me, I just don't like to get trolled. So I was like, okay. And then I said to him, I was like, and this is before he pushed his YouTube platform. I said to him, I was like, Luke, why don't you, just focus on YouTube? I think you can be something pretty big on YouTube if you read your live chat and you interacted with them a little bit more. It can grow into something big. I'm not going to tell you my what I'm going to be doing in my plan and this and that. And I was like, all right, that's fine. And sure enough, months later, he grew his YouTube channel.
Yep.
He starts interacting with the
chats.
chat a little bit more.
Yeah.
and then he has Morning Combat, where all of a sudden he's a comedian now.
And he has a co-host.
Yeah, it's like, wait, we're the only comedians around here, Mr. Luke Thomas. Anyway, I'm not going to blab your ear off about the guy. He's a phony. He's a fake. He's a fraud.
Actually makes sense, because I watched Luke Thomas earlier, and now when I watch him, I was like, something has changed. I mean, I felt the change, but I don't know in which direction has it gone, but I felt the change.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like when you're watching Luke Thomas that he's scolding you? Like that you are lesser of a human being when he speaks? When he speaks into that microphone and looks into the camera and he's pushing his opinion out there, anything that you believe as a human being is wrong.
Yes.
Right? Luke Thomas just shoves it in your face like a big bearded asshole.
Yes.
I'm the only big bearded asshole around here, Mr. Vladimir. Vladimir, how do you say your last name, by the way?
Vladimir Vladislavljevic.
All right, let me try this.
Wait,
Vladislavljevic.
It's okay,
Wait.
Vladislavljevic.
I can't do it.
Vladislavljevic.
Yes. Vladislavljevic.
Vladislavljevic.
You know, could you do me a favor? Can you say something in Bulgarian? Is it okay for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Of course.
Okay, this is something from my native language. You know, when two really love each other, we say that flowers don't walk alone. That's what it means. Flower don't walk alone. I'm gonna tell you. You can try to repeat if it's okay for you.
Absolutely.
Okay, try.
Tsvete, nese, hodi, samoten.
That means a flower will not walk alone. You know, when two love each other in Bulgaria, we say flowers don't walk alone.
Boss, you should make that your new tagline.
I'm going to tattoo that on myself. How do you say
Wonderful.
in Bulgarian? Wonderful, wonderful.
Hubavo.
But hold on. Actually, I'll tell you what. You're going to put this on your YouTube channel, correct?
Yes?
Okay. I want to clip this, Jesse. What do you think?
As a soundbite?
Yeah.
Bulgarian
would you like to
soundbite?
be a Bulgarian soundbite?
What is that?
So basically on our show,
Wonderful.
that's like our slogan, wonderful, wonderful.
That's a soundbite.
And we have Luke Thomas doing it too.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we have Luke too, you know.
Okay.
But how about this? Would you like to be part of our sounds saying wonderful, wonderful in Bulgarian?
Няма проблем, братан.
Okay. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to mute my mic. I need you to say wonderful, wonderful, and we'll clip it when you upload it.
I will tell you something even better. It means the most wonderful.
Oh,
Perfect.
very nice. Okay. Give us your best wonderful, wonderful.
Най-хубаво.
Okay. That's our new soundbite.
Okay,
Jesse.
now you got to clip it and put it on the
I will.
soundboard.
When you upload it, I will clip it, and that you will be part of our sounds.
Oh yeah, it's great. I'm always interested for any kind of cooperation. I told you, I'm not narrow-minded guy, so...
There you go. Did anyone ever tell you sound like Borat?
Yes,
You ever watched-
everybody's telling me that, and I'm very proud of that.
That's great. He's a funny guy, right?
Of course! Oh, look at this, some Borat.
Can you say very nice like Borat says it?
It's very nice.
I need you to say wawa weewa.
Wawa viva.
Yes.
You should clip that.
That is beautiful. You're a good guy. I tell you what, you're one of the nicer guys that we've spoken to.
Oh, thank you so much. Do you have some message for the fans or fighters or someone? Would you like to greet someone, you know? Because later I'm gonna cut that out, you know, some parts of the interview. I have to cut something out, you know, and that's gonna be definitely one of the best interviews. Would you like to greet someone, please?
You have anyone in mind that you would like to greet?
No.
This is what I'm going to say. I want to greet the MMA community. I want to greet all the people out there, the people that don't know of the MMA holes or our new friend Vlad. I want to say thank you for supporting the greatest sport in the world, mixed martial arts, the UFC. It's going up in the upright direction, to the cloud, to the sky, the greatest. We are witnessing something amazing, and I want to thank you for that support. Now, make sure you subscribe to the MMA holes, not the MMA holes, and our friend Vladimir here, the Bulgarian cowboy. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this. I will start creating video now, and if not tonight, I have Bellator tonight. I must do commentary. If not tonight, tomorrow it will be online.
We'll keep an eyeball out, and thank you for having us on.
All right. Thank you too, guys. Have a great day.